Yes, guys, I hope that you're good. It's Ben Hawksuff at The Coach Consultant, and today I'm going to be talking about something that I think is really, really important, and that is imposter syndrome. And most importantly, how to actually understand it and how to overcome it. So as a personal trainer and online coach, you are going to experience this in so many different areas, right? When it comes to transitioning from PT to online coaching, when it comes to hiring your own team, when it comes to content creation, when it comes to sales, even down to, for example, if you've got a new offer or you're trying to target a new niche, or you're looking at going and speaking at an event or hosting your own event, or so many different areas, right? So there's going to be so many different times that we actually need to overcome imposter syndrome. And for me, the first thing that we need to look at is actually understanding what it fucking is. So, and that's the first piece of paper that I've basically got on this slide here. So imposter syndrome is a response. Right? It's a response to show that you are actually growing. Let's change our perspective on this for a second. You will not experience imposter syndrome if you are very, 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 very comfortable. You are not taking any new risks. You are not trying new things. Right? Whereas we know, or you should know, and you need to get into your head to know, that if you want to make a lot of progress in life and business, then you need to put yourself in a situation where you are getting uncomfortable. You are taking risks. You are making mistakes. So for me, if you are currently experiencing imposter syndrome right now, I just want to say well done. I want to say well done, because it shows that you are actually getting out of your comfort zone, because there's so many hundreds and thousands of people out there who are not feeling imposter syndrome. Why? Because they're really, really comfortable and they're really, really content with their life, and they're not really doing anything about it. So as a first starting point, right, actually acknowledge that, look, I'm feeling this way because I am actually pushing myself out of a comfort zone, because I want to grow, and you don't want to be in the exact same situation. So I need to experience, I need to feel like I do right now. So what you've got to do from that point is start to think about, right, how do I actually overcome it? So we understand it, that it's a response. It's a response to show we're doing something that is pushing us towards growing. That's how we need to understand it. So now we need to actually reframe and articulate it. So this is then step number one, right? Step number one is to actually understand that every single person that you potentially feel imposter syndrome about, or you feel comparison syndrome about, has felt the exact same as you, without question. I felt imposter syndrome when I first become a personal trainer, when I first become an online coach, when I first become an educator, when I first become a consultant, events owner, agency owner, info course, group, every single part of it, content creator, back to back, because I always try and push up to the next level of content. So I have imposter syndrome, feeling uncomfortable doing it at first. But you have to get through this. You have to understand that the people that you are comparing yourself to in basically what you want to aspire to be or what you want to aspire to become have all felt imposter syndrome. The difference is that it did not disable them from taking action. They were able to actually work through that process. And that's what I want you to get across to you guys is like, look, in order for you to get through imposter syndrome, you have to get into it more, right? The more time you spend being an imposter to yourself or to anyone else, the more time and more confidence that you're going to have to actually overcome that situation. So step number two is to make sure that we are actually looking at these other people, understanding that they felt the exact same as you. You are not an alien in any way, shape or form. Next thing is facts over feelings, right? Imposter syndrome, in my experience personally, alongside clients as well, is the fact that when we're kind of looking at this type of understanding, it's more often than not just a perception. You are not an imposter in any way, shape or form. It's just your perceived feeling of how you look at your situation. Whereas more often than not, there's not going to be anyone else looking in on your situation and going, oh, but they're an imposter. They're not going to be doing that. Like, I want you to sit there and think, if you feel like you've got imposter syndrome at the moment, I want you to think, are there actually any people who are directly going to be like, oh, yeah, you're an imposter, you shouldn't be doing that. And then the next thing I want to say to you is, fuck those people, right? Because they are the people that are going to disable you from doing the one thing that we know that we need to do, and that is growing, yeah? So if people are going to kind of call you out as an imposter, right, then they are disabling you from growing. Their fucking opinions do not matter in any way, shape, or form. So when we're kind of looking at that, guys, facts over feelings is actually go off what people are saying to you. Actually go off the real situation. Do not go off a perception that you have created in your head of you being an imposter, because most of the time that is actually the reason why someone feels like they do. It's their self-perception. then forgive yourself a little bit, right? If you're an imposter, right, for example, if you have got really high skill level, really high clarity, really high confidence, you're a guru, you're a master, you're not going to have imposter syndrome, right? That just means that you're more confident in what you are actually doing, right? Whereas in reality, guys, you are never going to know everything, right? The only bit of advice that I would recommend to you in this situation is that you are always 2 steps ahead of wherever your clients are now. So if you can deliver on what you need in terms of what you're doing with your service, your offer, your program, your content, or whatever it is, make sure that you're always 1 step ahead. Because if people are ahead of you, then yeah, you're going to feel like an imposter. And if people are calling you out, yeah, you're going to feel like an imposter. But it's important to understand that you're not going to know all of the information straight away. You're not going to know everything there is to know about coaching. You're not going to know everything there is to know about content creation. You're not going to know everything there is to know about sales and acquisition. Well, unless you joined my program, then you definitely would. But there's a massive difference between knowing it all and doing it all at the same time as well, right? So just forgive yourself a little bit, right? You just need to be 1 or 2 steps ahead of your clients at all times, right? Allow yourself that buffer, but also allow yourself the bandwidth and the mindset to kind of understand that you do not need to be coming in and fucking knowing everything at expert level detail to sell something, because you don't. The only thing that you need to do is be ahead of wherever your clients are at all times, right? Next up from that point is to define what your lane is, right? This is very, very, very similar to the previous one there that I put, where defining your lane for me is where we are going to come in and actually isolate what is your actual roadmap. That's their roadmap, that's their destination, that's how they got there. But what I want to look at with you guys, for example, is how are you actually going to get there? What is realistic for you in terms of the step-by-step journey, framework and understanding that you need to go through to actually get to that desired situation? Because if you're looking at someone else's desired situation or where someone else is now, then that's going to put you in a situation of comparing, right? We don't want to be comparing. It's not going to benefit anyone in any way, shape or form. All we need to do is make sure that we are 2 steps ahead of our clients and we are working towards what our destination is on our journey. That is your lane, right? That's where you're not going to feel like an imposter, because you're building your mission and your vision, not an expectation of what someone's telling you to do, which is a common thing, or what someone else has achieved, right? Make this journey about you and make sure that you've got a map, step-by-step process on how to actually get there in the future. The next thing from that point is to actually stop just winging how you feel and get real-time feedback from clients. If you feel like an imposter syndrome with content creation, right, speak to 5 people about your content and ask their honest opinions. If you feel like an imposter with your coaching, speak to 5 clients and get their opinions. If you feel like an imposter with an event talk, practice your speech to 5 people, right? Get feedback. Yeah, getting real-time feedback is one of the best things that you can possibly do to overcome imposter syndrome, because most of the time imposter syndrome is basically where you've got an expectation and perception, and basically you're in the middle where you don't know if it's what's expected or you don't know if you got the right perception, and that's where basically imposter syndrome sits. It's because you're overthinking it, you're comparing it, you're not sure if you should be doing it, you're not sure if you shouldn't. So if you can actually get direct real-time feedback from your audience, from a mentor, from a team member, from a client, or whatever it may be, for example, then that's going to allow you to be in a 10 times more confident situation, because you've actually got answers, right? It's where you sit in the gap where's the problem is when it comes to imposter syndrome. So make sure you're not second guessing or sat there doing anything other than just making sure that you're working on what you need to, not just overthinking everything. This is an asset that you need to start for acquisition anyway, right? But if you feel like an imposter syndrome, what I want you to do is I want you to go through every single check-in, every single client result, every single testimonial video, every single bit of feedback, everything. I want you to build a massive vault, because guess what? When you see the amount of volume that you have created in terms of results, or if you've worked with people for free and got their feedback, or where you've given advice and they've given advice back, all we're trying to do is we're trying to overcome imposter syndrome with confidence. Right? That is all I'm trying to do in all of these pieces of paper, is how do I overcome someone's imposter syndrome by giving them more confidence to let it go, drop it, and move on. So making sure that you've actually got a clear bank of evidence with multiple different wins, results, feedback, testimonials, and you build that up over time, because you need that as part of your acquisition and sales process regardless, alongside your content creation production system. right? So you need to make sure that you've got a substantial amount of confidence, because most of the time we don't wake up in the morning and go, woo, I'm the man or I'm the woman, right? Don't work like that, right? The more evidence that we compile about what we are doing and how we are helping people, the more confident that we will be when it comes to content creation, when it comes to selling our services, alongside the expectation for new clients and new results coming in. Can't express the fucking importance of building a wins bank, right? The final one from here, guys, is the most important, and that is to show up regardless, right? Show up and build the reps, right? This is exactly the same as when you go to the gym and you train and you lift weights. It is exactly the same. There is no difference in any way, shape, or form. When you go to the gym and you lift weights, every single rep, if you've got a load on it with progressive overload, you'll damage muscle fibers, they will recover, they will grow, right? Imposter syndrome and building an incredible business is exactly the same, that you need to feel imposter syndrome. You must feel imposter syndrome, because that shows that you are trying something new or putting yourself in a situation that you are not used to being in. And that shows that you are putting yourself in a spot to actually want to grow. So if you're in a spot to actually want to grow, that means that you are in a place of, for example, progressive overload like you're in the gym. And then all you need to do from that point is keep showing up, because it's the reps with the overload what will then allow you to get stronger, more confident, and have more clarity down the line, guys. Like, reps is just keep going. Right? And imposter syndrome, good. Because what happens now is you get comfortable where you are right now, and then the next thing that you need to do is you need to start on something else more uncomfortable. Like when I initially started YouTube's all those months ago, whereas now I feel very, very, very comfortable on it. Right? And that's exactly the same as your situation right now when it comes to content, when it comes to sales call processes, when it comes to trialing a new script, when it comes to using a lead magnet for the first time, when it comes to launching a challenge, when it comes to changing niche, or when it comes to building an offer, whatever it may be, guys. Yeah, go out of your way to make sure that you are putting yourself in a place of discomfort as much as possible, because you need to get into those situations to get uncomfortable, to get comfortable, and make a substantial amount of progress. Yeah. So if you want any support with anything that I spoke about in this video, guys, with imposter syndrome, and I think that's why I love my message of doing it right, because the people who do it right don't have imposter syndrome, because they're not second guessing themselves, right? They are confident because they know that if they do the right things over time, it's inevitable that they will see success off the back of it, guys. So yeah, if you want to find out more information about what we do with the Coach Consultant and how I can help you, then there's a link somewhere around in my bio. If you've got any comments, please drop into the comments. And if you're not subscribing, guys, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.